Hey guys, Drifter here. I'm back with another storytime commentary on the finals, and today we are talking about Monkey Brain. The gameplay that you're going to get to see all around this Monkey Brain discussion is me playing with Roxy Surf Chick, who is a light sniper rifle expert. She's also top 250 world tour right now, which is extremely impressive, and she's making most of the callouts and plays in this video, which we'll loop back around to later. I am running around using throwing knives, but since I spent a little bit of money to get a cosmetic, I've replaced them with 90s mixtape CDs, so I'm throwing some very high damage CDs at people's faces. All of the gameplay is from one series on Kyoto, one final match. It was supposed to be my last one of the evening because I kind of had a miserable evening, and everything just popped off here on Kyoto. But back to the main topic of the video. I have a common medical condition that's known as monkey brain, at least for gaming. I think I actually enjoy turning my brain off while gaming and often get better in-game results for it. Like, seriously, I hit all of my best plays in gaming over the last several decades on this channel while not paying attention to the game and just zoning out on something else or having a fun conversation or just genuinely not being as present as you would expect a gamer to be, especially one like me that's all about in-depth and logic and stats, because I think my subconscious brain just takes over and does the Lord's work, which is super ironic given that my bread and butter series was in-depth, which is analytical and sometimes slow, and I'm known as a little bit of a big-brained gamer. But let's move into the actual little bit of story time of this video. So I hopped on the finals the other night to play purely for fun. Well, that's a little bit of a lie. It wasn't purely for fun. I was hunting some gameplay clips to post on X or maybe on this channel, and also testing out the new 1440p streaming options on Twitch. I'm eventually going to try to stream in 1440p on Twitch and YouTube, but I kind of got to figure these things out. My first round was playing a heavy character, and I decided to go both Lockbolt and Winchclaw just purely for funsies. I didn't really have a good time with that combo. I had a very hard time using that as effectively as what I wanted. I was kind of missing my shots in most of the heavy weapons and fell back to the flamethrower, which is a little bit of a... felt a little guilty about that when burning some people. The second round, I said, you know what? I'm going to try a new gun here. I want to get some gameplay with the medium model 1887 shotgun because it looks and plays almost identical to the Call of Duty model 1887 shotgun. Surely there's some kind of like content crossover here. And as it turns out, that gun is miserable. They actually buffed it a little bit, or they nerfed its best competitor, so now it outcompetes the Cerberus, but the downside is that you can no longer reload cancel. When you start reloading those 6 shells into the shotgun, you have to go through all 6 of them. There's no put 2 shells in, pop 2, reload. It's a super long animation, drives me crazy, and I ended up playing really bad, worst of the night. Okay, third round, I said, you know what, I'm going to play light, I'm going to play the MP5, I know it's a good gun, it's easy, I should be able to have fun with this. Got totally smashed. And then I started trying anything. I kind of kicked into this very analytical mode. My brain starts gearing up. Those gears are churning, or perhaps in this case, grinding together, because everything that I tried all night long did not work. No matter what combination of things I was trying to do in the finals, I was actually having a rare but actually true miserable time because I felt like I couldn't get my situation going and together. The problem was that I was simply trying way too hard and overthinking and overanalyzing everything. My brain is sitting there running all these background processes, trying to calculate how to set up clips that are going to be like really hyped for YouTuber X, and exactly what kind of clips we need, and content strategy, and trying to keep track of everybody's position on the map and do all these things. And I should have just been letting the clips happen. Also, my hands, and sort of brain as well, they all connect, nervous system, are trying to be perfect instead of adaptive. Instead of just sort of rolling with the situation, I'm trying to force myself to have that I live on Aim Trainer, Aim Labs, Kovacs kind of aim, trying to make it look really impressive, and also focusing on strategies of showiness instead of practicality. I just really wanted to set up something big, and I failed over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until I became frustrated with what has become my new favorite game. Then, for the last night of the evening, I decided to just play throwing knives, which is something that I'm a lot more familiar with. It's one of the weapons that I recommended in the best for new players. I don't have to reload them, so it saves my finger a very frequent key press, allows me a little more mobility. I really like the throwing knives. I might have actually played more throwing knives than any other weapon in this game at this point. I'm not entirely sure. But they're not super meta, we'll say. But by this point in the evening, I was defeated, demoralized, and languishing in pain from having used my gimped hands way, way, way too much. Alas, the drifter that you all know and love gave up. The guy who talks about never giving up just fully gave up. Well, sort of. I mean, this gameplay is here, so obviously that's not the end of the story. I gave up on trying. I gave up on trying hard. I gave up on thinking about this game. I gave up on setting stuff up. I gave up on trying to look cool and decided to try considerably less while also being much more aggressive about my gameplay. And I called this mode Monkey Brain for a couple of reasons. Number one is that my brain is still stuck on this sort of return to monkey meme, or that, you know, monkeys don't have to pay rent to live and that we're just apes with jobs and things like that. And this sort of a recurring meme and a little inside joke in my house to where we talk about return to monkey. There's also the commentator monkey that sits on my shoulder, something we've been talking about since Black Ops 2, the metaphorical devil whispering that I should do some very high-risk things in the game to go for clips. And the fact that I'm genuinely not thinking a whole lot, which is a somewhat uncommon state for me. And I think that's really the sort of magic of this mode, because all of those things together worked in my favor and allowed me to get my best gameplay of the evening, which I know for all of you watching, this isn't like the most insane, intense, impressive like series of high elo clips. But it's really good for me, it's really good for my standards, and I'm happy with it. For the first time all evening, I felt like I was actually contributing to the team, and what I was doing is pretty much playing pure attack dog with throwing knives, and I just kind of started racking up kills and assists. I even managed to steal an objective all by myself, put it in the cash box, and start scoring while my team was doing something entirely different, because I was so monkey-brained and just focused on surviving and killing these people that I forgot about all the objectives and everything. And it was incredibly fun, and we started hitting clips and all the gameplay that you see around me here on YouTube. It felt very easy. And I think it's probably more appropriate to describe this mindset instead of monkey brain as something more like a Zen Flow State, where everything just kind of happens naturally. And that's one of those things that I've always enjoyed and always tried to reach in gaming. It's just the state where the game feels natural and normal, and everything has a flow and a rhythm, like you're just going around down a lazy river, like the ones you'd find in the water park, like a natural stream. And as long as you go with the flow, everything is going to be fine. But to pull back to Monkey Brain, or Zen Flow State as we're now calling it, Monkey Brain has some surprising benefits for you as a gamer. First of all, you're going to get a much greater focus on the mechanical aspects of the game, such as movement and aiming. Thinking less about the true position of your enemies, where they're going to go, what objectives they're doing, how likely they are to clump, what they're like, who's up and who's down, and all that kind of stuff. Since your brain isn't doing that, it has a lot of extra processing power left over to just allow you to focus on moving fast, on moving fluid, hitting your shots, just the sort of little actual key presses, the little mechanical aspects of the game that we would typically have to train for as if it were an actual sport. When you're in monkey brain mode, your brain is primarily reactive instead of predictive. So when you're trying, like you're playing attack shooter like Counter-Strike, you're trying to predict where everybody is all the time because that's very important. But in a game like, at least in the finals or certain other games, it can actually be better to just be a really flexible sort of reactive player and not super worry so much about everybody's positioning unless you're playing esports. Obviously, if you're going to like play $1 million tournament, that doesn't apply. For average gamers, you could just rely on your own reaction skills, which often work better when I'm not thinking about other things. And that's kind of ironic. We've talked about this in other videos, and you might have seen it for those of you that are subscribed to Kurtztegot. My God, I probably totally butchered the pronunciation of that channel, the science channel with the little birds, is that your perception of reality actually lags behind reality a little bit, and your brain is pretty much constantly running a prediction algorithm to determine where things kind of are around you in your environment. So when somebody throws a ball at you, like say a basketball, and you reach up and you grab it, you catch the pass, your brain's prediction algorithm started predicting the path of the ball the very moment you realized it was being thrown. And it sent signals to your arms to, well, that's your subconscious, I should clarify, signals to your arms to reach up and grab it at its most likely location before you even consciously thought to do that. Like, you didn't plan these motions with your arms, they just sort of happened. So your brain always has a prediction algorithm going on, pretty much constantly as long as you're moving. But one of the interesting things I found about gaming is that if I turn down my brain's prediction of other players' behavior and instead just go monkey brain, that the prediction algorithm of the brain has a lot more space left over to just make me a little faster, a little snappier, a little more accurate, a little quicker on kind of things like that. And in this mindset, I oddly have a greater emphasis on my own survival, because sometimes I forget that I'm not in the game. I go full monkey. We just give in to aping here. And sometimes the game feels like a natural extension of my body. The mouse and the keyboard and the button presses, it all feels like I'm really there, really running. So sometimes it feels like when people are coming to kill me, I might actually get hurt. A little bit of gaming anxiety, perhaps. But decision making also has a much clearer focus when you're playing monkey brain, especially aggressive monkey brain. The focus, the entire thing is make bad guys go bye-bye. It's not get a sick clip for Twitch. It's not, we're going to set this thing up and that thing up, and we're going to bait this point and set this trap, and we're going to do this strategy. It's like, no, oh, here's guys not paying attention. They're dead. We just hose them down with the little blades. I made like a weird motorboat noise for the CDs. I can't make the CD noises with my mouth. But your focus is just on making people dead, which is honestly a lot easier. And in this instance, I said we would loop back around it. It was very nice having Roxy on the team with us that night, because she can make callouts. Focus this person, do this thing, this objective. I maybe was attack dog instead of attack monkey, but it was just like, this guy's weak, Drifter, go kill him. Swoop in, just hammer, 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 dead, very easy. There's another person on the team that's doing the actual brain work, so it's a blessing to have that, because sometimes if you have a team of all monkeys, well, they don't really get productive objective play going on. So the whole point of this is to say that your mood has a huge impact, and mindset as well, a huge impact on your ability to game effectively. I have always said that I get much better gameplay when laughing and not paying attention to the game than when I'm specifically trying very hard. It's a strategy that I encouraged for many of you as well over the years, and the monkey brain mindset isn't very different. I also think it makes me a little bit happier because it feels more akin to playing a sport like basketball and being a part of something, being a part of the magic of a moment where all these conflation of an infinite amount of possibilities come together to make that one thing magical happen to you, as opposed to manipulating the match to your advantage as if it were a chess game, as if it were a board and you were a player and you were playing it instead of just being a part of it. And I definitely have some minor sense of shame about it, because my channel is all about education and logic and good decision making and thinking things through and planning ahead and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Yet the very moment I get the opportunity, I will gladly pack all of that away and return to monkey brain. I not only have more fun when in monkey brain mode, I also get better gameplay, which is absolutely incredible, but it's kind of always been true. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful, and I also hope to see some of you monkeying around on the finals, maybe even aping some cash points. Terrible, terrible puns. I really should have bought the Bigfoot skin for this video. I should just get the Bigfoot skin in general just because it's funny, but I really should have been wearing it for this particular video. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.